Hello, this is the Bible in Fewer Words. We are Carol and Steve Wells. This is episode 9, Genesis chapter 23.
And 24.
And 24. Sarah died when she was 127 years old. Abraham buried her in a cave.
Okay.
127.
127. She is the only woman whose age at her death we know.
Nobody else?
No, we don't know how long Eve lived or any of the other few women that have been mentioned so far. There aren't too many.
And named?
Named women.
All right.
Okay.
So that's
chapter 23.
Chapter 23.
There's not really much interesting in it except for those two items. Okay, chapter 24. When Abraham was old, he said to his oldest servant, "Put your hand under my thigh and swear to God that you won't allow my son to marry a Canaanite. Go to the country where my family lives and find a wife for Isaac." The servant said, "What if the woman isn't willing to come back with me? Should I bring Isaac with me?" Abraham said, "No, don't bring Isaac with you. God will send an angel to help you find him a wife. If the woman still won't come back with you, I'll release you from your vow." So the servant put his hand under Abraham's thigh and swore.
Well, that's kind of a bizarre verse.
Well, yeah, it is. In many ways, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that Abraham was old, and he's 10 years older than Sarah, and Sarah's dead now at 127.
Wow, you're right.
So he's
really old.
137 years old.
At least, yeah.
So, yeah, he's been old for a long time.
He's been old for a long time. He was old when he had his first kid.
Yes. And I wonder how old his servant is.
I don't know, but he's his oldest servant.
He is. Okay.
And the servant is probably slave here.
Okay.
This King James called it servant, so that's what I did.
So the next bizarre thing is this, put your hand under my thigh and swear to God.
Cross your fingers, put your hand on the Bible.
A pinky swear.
Pinky swear. Well, in this case, putting the hand under the thigh is often a euphemism in the Bible for genitals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess it's close by.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, when it's important to the guy, his genitals. So if you have somebody hold your genitals in their hand while they're swearing to you, then you know that, well, it's an important thing.
Or it's an intimate thing, anyway.
Well, it's intimate, but I mean, it's important. It's like putting your hand on the Bible and swearing.
Are you saying that the Bible is the euphemism for sexual organs?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm not. I'm just saying that when you swear in court, you put your hand on the Bible. Here in the Bible, when you swear, you put your hand on the person's genitals to which you're making the promise.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't be making many promises in my life if that were the case.
Okay, well, anyway, that's what many Bible scholars think, the putting on the hand under the thigh. But in any case, putting your hand under someone's thigh while you're swearing to that person is pretty strange.
Yes.
And you're going to be pretty close to the genitals if you put the hand under the thigh, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I see a picture here where someone's kneeling. That must be the servant kneeling in front of Abraham and kind of leaning on his knees.
Yeah.
You should all go to the website and see that picture.
Right. As before, the text and notes about the episode and links to the actual verses of the Bible are at the website if you go there. So what else do we have? I guess that's about it, right?
Well, no, there's a lot here. So the servant's going to swear to God that Isaac will not marry a Canaanite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There'd be Canaanites all around, right? Because they're living in the land of Canaan. Why not just marry one of the local girls?
Well, remember Ham and his son Canaan and what Ham did to cause Noah.
Yeah, we might want to just refresh our listeners' views.
Yes.
If you haven't, I think it's episode 3. If you haven't listened to that, what happens in episode 3 is that Noah, after the flood, gets drunk and naked in his tent, and Ham happens to come in and see him. And so Noah curses not Ham, but Ham's son, Canaan.
So his grandson. Noah curses his grandson.
Noah curses his grandson, and he cursed them with
being slaves for the rest of their life.
Being slaves for the rest of life, particularly to the offspring, to his other son's offspring, Shem, Japheth.
Oh, Japheth, yes. So, if he marries a Canaanite here, that would be like marrying beneath his station in
for
life.
sure. Yeah. So the Canaanites are tainted by this incident with Noah and Ham. And so you wouldn't want to marry one of them. They're all just a bunch of slaves, so don't marry them.
Okay, and I'm actually trying to figure out age-wise. We're kind of fascinated with ages. How old would Isaac be about now? I guess he'd be about 27.
Yeah, good point.
Dad...
He would be 27 because he was born when Abraham was 100. Yeah, so it's time to get him a wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't had a wife before now.
Right. So we're on that journey now, right?
Yes.
Abraham says, "Don't take him with you. God will help you find him a wife.
Don't take Isaac with you. Don't let him have a choice.
Right.
And if the woman doesn't want to come back with you, well, I guess you've tried your best.
Right. That's it. That's the deal. And so we're going to go off to find him a wife, and you can take over from there.
Abraham's servant took 10 camels and departed for the city of Nahor in Mesopotamia. When he arrived, he went to the well where the women came to get water. And he prayed, saying, God, I'm standing here where the women come to get water. Help me find a wife for my master's son by using these words, when a woman comes to get water. I'll say to her, let me have a drink of water, please. Then she'll say, here, have a drink, and here's some water for your camels. Let that woman be the one I should bring back to my master's son. So this is a little confusing to me because it sounds like he's talking to God, but he's telling God what he's going to say. Oh, he wants God to make it so that woman will become the wife. I mean, God will say, yes, that's a good idea.
Sure.
And we'll make it so that is the one that becomes Isaac's wife.
Yeah. So first of all, in the Bible, finding a wife usually happens at a well. We'll see this over and over again. It's kind of like the bar, going to the bar. And
I see.
The women come to the well, and you hang out there, and you pick one out. It's a thing in the Bible.
A place to hang out.
Yeah, and so he's saying he has to identify the woman that God wants Isaac to marry.
Okay.
And so he's doing this. He's making an agreement with God. I'm going to be here at the well. Mm-hmm. Women are going to come up here. I'm going to ask one of the women. I'll ask each of the women, I guess. Can I have, what does he say? Can I have a drink? Let me have a drink of water, please. Uh-huh. And she will say, if she says this, here, have a drink, and here's some water for your camels, then I'll know that that's the woman that God wants me to bring back for Isaac.
It sounds a little convoluted.
It's sort of instructions for God. It's a deal with God. Here's how we're going to do this.
Yeah, so the servant is kind of telling God, this is my plan. I hope you're okay with it. And
no, not a hope. This is the way it's going to happen.
Oh, so he's really telling God.
Telling God, this is the way it's going to go.
Okay. So while he was still talking to God, Rebekah came by. She was a good-looking virgin, and she went to the well to fill her pitcher. Abraham's servant ran to her and said, let me have a drink of water, please. And Rebekah said, sure, have a drink. And here's some water for your camels.
See, it worked out just fine.
On the first try.
Yeah, and a good-looking virgin.
Yeah. And don't you think that maybe anybody might have answered that way?
Yes, I would think they might. Yeah, They're just being polite. Yeah, here's some water. And, you got camels. Here's some water for your camels, too. Oh. Doesn't seem like a very good, he should come up with something that was or something that would be it would be a real surprise if she answered correctly.
Yes.
What's the square root of 16 or something? I don't know.
Okay, well, Rebekah sounds like she passed the test.
She did.
So she'll be the one.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to take over?
It's also interesting here, though, I would like to point out that she was a good-looking virgin, and how that would be known to anyone. The good-looking, well, that's a matter of opinion.
Uh-huh.
But the virgin, that's very specific. How do you determine that?
Uh-huh.
But she was a virgin.
Okay, great. Good for Isaac.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we now? Verse 22. The servant gave her a gold earring, two gold bracelets, and said to her, "Who's your father? And is there room for us to stay in your house?" She said, "My father is Bethuel, and there is room for you to stay with us." When Abraham's servant arrived at Rebekah's house, Rebekah's brother and father asked her, "Do you want to marry the son of this man's master?" Rebekah said, "Yes." They blessed her and said, "Have thousands of millions of babies." So they returned to Canaan, and when they arrived, Isaac took Rebekah into his mother's tent, and she became his wife.
Just like that?
Just like no wedding ceremony, no exchange of vows. That's how you get married in the Bible. You just kind of go in the tent.
You go in the tent. Okay, so, I mean, Abraham doesn't get to see his son getting married. He doesn't.
No, apparently, as far as I can tell from the
just go in the tent.
text, there's no ceremony or anything. And the thousands of millions of babies, you might think I'm exaggerating.
Yes.
But that's exactly what it says in the text. Have thousands of millions of babies.
Okay, poor her.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
That vessel's gonna get used.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing to say.
Yes, it is.
Wish upon someone.
Yeah. Another thing is that they did ask her if she wanted to marry him.
Yeah, that's the only time that I know of in the Bible. I might be wrong, but that's the only time that I know of where a woman is asked if she was willing to marry someone, to give her consent to marry.
Yes. Well, there was a good down payment there by a gold earring and 2 gold bracelets.
It's true. Yeah, that might have persuaded her.
Uh-huh. And she sees all those camels, and obviously Isaac must. I mean,
he could afford to send somebody on an expedition to
find someone
a wife. Yeah,
who is not a Canaanite. So,
right.
What tribe did she come from?
It doesn't say in this chapter, but in a previous chapter, something that I left out, it does talk about Bethuel, and Bethuel is Abraham's nephew. So she would be Abraham's great niece.
Okay, and Abraham comes from what tribe?
Shem.
So Noah had 3 kids.
Yes.
Ham, the bad guy.
Well,
Ham.
Yeah.
Japheth.
Yes, very good.
And Shem.
Mm-hmm.
And so he can't marry somebody from Ham's line.
No.
And we don't know about Japheth.
Well, there's a debate about who are the ancestors or who are the descendants of Japheth. But Shem is very clear. Abraham is a direct descendant of Shem.
Okay. So are they called Shemites?
And so would be then his nephew here too as well. So
yes, the dad, Bethuel.
So they're called Shemites, and that's where the word Semite comes from.
Huh.
Yeah.
Semite.
Yeah, so anti-Semite would be against the people who are descended from Abraham.
Oh. It's all becoming clear to me now.
Well, good.
All right, so he's got a wife with her, and that's the end of the chapter.
Yes, it is.
So they returned to Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, wait a second. I guess I didn't realize that. I thought that just that night they went into a tent and, consummated
they had a long
marriage.
journey. It's a long trip. They had to go back to Canaan. Uh-huh. And when they got back, then they went into the tent and they became married. I
guess so. So Abraham hasn't died yet.
No, he's still around. So
Abraham knows now. Okay, he married a Shemite.
Yeah, he's
who's
happy.
From my line.
It all worked out.
Yes, it did. I guess that swearing under the thigh worked.
Well, it did. It did in this case. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I don't know why people don't do that anymore.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much for sticking with us and joining us for these podcasts. We will see you next time.